This bill protects consumers and brings smart, common-sense regulations to the ride-for-hire industry, giving Massachusetts the most comprehensive consumer protections in America while leaving room for the taxi and ride-sharing industries to grow. It protects consumers economically through prohibitions on surge pricing through emergencies or during emergencies. It protects riders from getting in the vehicle with dangerous individuals by requiring 2 background checks, mandating that identification markers be placed on ride-for-hire vehicles. It protects the taxi industry by sheltering Logan Airport taxi stands in the Boston Convention and Exhibit Center from ride-sharing companies. But there's still one group that's being left out, and that's the group of drivers, the people who actually work for these companies. If you work for Uber or Lyft as a driver, Mr. Speaker, you're not entitled to any of the fundamental benefits that we all would enjoy today that we see as essential to maintaining our standard of living here in the United States. That's because TNCs so far have been able to take advantage of the laws of the land by classifying their workers as independent contractors rather than employees. Independent contractors don't have any rights to minimum wage, to workmen's compensation, to collective bargaining, or virtually any other rights that our employees are entitled to. Indeed, we had just at the beginning of this year, Mr. Speaker, we had drivers for one of these TNC companies who saw their wages reduced overnight without any consideration for how they were doing or how they would be able to make ends meet. No say whatsoever. TNC companies, Mr. Speaker, they suggest that their drivers like being independent contractors because it allows them to work as much as they want. But what they don't say is that it allows that company to take a finder's fee out of every ride. That means every single ride, as independent contractors, they have to set aside, the drivers have to do, and they have to put their own money aside for tax season. That a portion of every one of their checks must go towards their own gas money, wear and tear on their vehicle. When all is said and done, Mr. Speaker, the people driving for these companies, they keep less than 20% of their paycheck. Our First Amendment that we've been discussing, the First Amendment is to put a marker on this issue. It seeks to make sure that all ride-for-hire drivers, as defined in this bill, TNC drivers, taxi drivers, all of them would be considered employees solely for the purpose of collective bargaining. Would leave it to them to be able to negotiate with their bosses about wages, about workman's comp, about other matters. Because the concern is when the economy downturns, these people, some 20,000 people in Massachusetts now, will have nothing.